Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's edition of the Maconi Setup Shop A-Fix Tutorials. This week we're looking at the Daytona International Speedway NASCAR road course, so strap in and let's get to it. Biggest thing that I want to point out to start this video is I'm sure with the Daytona 24-hour race coming up, a lot of you guys probably, just like me, have been doing laps in anything but the next-gen car. Uh, I do a lot of laps in the prototype because I love that thing, but I've also done a few laps in the GT3 car because I know how similar it is to this and I like to see how it compares. Uh, the biggest thing that I can suggest to you if you are going to drive this, think of it as a much more overweight GT3 car. Okay, if you try to drive this thing like the prototype, you're just asking to go off into the grass and hit a wall at a high rate of speed. Okay, at least with the GT3 car, it's somewhat similar in terms of braking points. Yes, I missed that corner pretty badly. We'll get into that. Um, this thing is an absolute boat. Okay, you can drive a GT3 car harder than this, not by much, but the GT3 car is a lot more stable around the racetrack. You can drive it a little bit deeper. The biggest thing with this next gen car, it's hard to go from running prototype to next gen. It's a little easier to go from running GT3 to next gen. Um, Mindset that you got to have is to just back this thing way down. Okay, I'm backing it up so much farther than I do with the prototype, obviously, but I have to back it up even more than I do with the GT3 car. Okay, just wanted to get that out there because it's hard to find the braking points. Once you overdrive a corner in this car, there's no slowing it down. If you hit the brakes any harder, you start locking up tires. If you start downshifting in a hurry, you start wheel hopping, and you're asking for a wreck. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot of guys that do this that can find that kind of speed. Okay, I'm just not that guy. All right, I can't drive it any harder or deeper than I am in this video. Um, so I just want to make that a point so that when you guys watch this and take away from it, if you guys are running laps in this, hopefully you can really use what I'm doing to help you get at least 60% of the way there. Because if you try doing this cold turkey and finding braking points, especially if you've been running practice laps for the Daytona 24-hour race next weekend, it's going to be really tough. Okay. With that being said, just like most road courses that I cover, I try to focus on three things: braking in a straight line, doing all your shifting before the corner, and getting the straightest launch possible. Okay. Now, there's a lot of things for this road course that I'm doing that I actually do when I'm racing the 24-hour race. Again, I usually do it in the prototype. The lines are the same, the techniques are the same, the braking points are just way different. Okay. But I do the same thing in the prototype. And I'm not the fastest, but I'm relatively close to my teammates, and to me, that's what matters, especially when my teammates are aliens around this place. Okay, the bus stop is the biggest one that I tried finding because like I can drive the prototype past the one marker, and it took me probably 3 or 4 laps to realize that I got to brake just after the 3 marker in this thing. Okay, I knew I couldn't drive it to the one in this car, but I was trying to back it off at the two, and I couldn't make the bus stop to save my life. Okay, a lot of different techniques to get around this racetrack, and I'm going to explain why I like entering the shallower, especially for turn one and this corner that we just came out of, this added chicane for the NASCAR stuff. When you're on the banking, especially in this car, and you're trying to brake and do your downshifting, it really upsets the car. Okay, so I find that the flatter you are when you try to brake and downshift, the more stability you have in the car. Okay, and that's huge for racing around a place like this because there's no cautions in these races, right? At least I don't think so. I'm pretty sure cautions are disabled for this. So you're not going to make up time that you lose by somebody causing a caution and just getting the time back. Racing on a road course here is all about minimizing your mistakes. Okay, and I've been able to do that over my years. Like I've said, I am not the fastest road course guy. I've never claimed to be, but I take a lot of pride in limiting my mistakes so that I don't give up any unnecessary time lost. Okay, and that's huge. I might finish 10 seconds behind the leader, but I'm going to finish 10 seconds behind the leader on pace. I'm not going to be 2 seconds behind and make a mistake and lose 8 seconds and never get it back. All right, and that's what this is all about here. That's what I try to demonstrate in these videos. It's clearly not the fastest way around, but it works. It's smooth, it's consistent, it's stable. Okay. Lap 1, the tires are really cold. That's going to be the easiest time for you to lock up, I think. But again, if you're over driving and you're trying to make up time, it's also very easy to lock the tires up when you start braking too hard and rushing downshifts because you're like, whoa, 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 I got to slow this car down. Okay. The biggest thing that you can do when racing on these road courses is just race yourself. Don't worry about the cars around you. Just race the racetrack, race yourself. Okay, if somebody's faster than you, they'll find a space to let you to get around you, and you can let them go safely. And if you're smooth and consistent compared to somebody who's making mistakes, they're just going to burn their equipment up. And even if your pace isn't all that great, chances are you're still going to have a chance to come up and pass them. Okay. Uh, we're going to go back here into the in-car, and this is where we're going to try to do a little bit of a breakdown. So setting up for turn 1 here, okay, I'm not, like in the prototype, I go all the way out to the wall because I'm trying to make that entry as big as I can, okay? Sometimes in the nighttime, I'll obviously enter down here where I am in the next-gen car, but I much prefer entering on the flatter part, okay? As you can see, little unstable because I was a little high up, but way more controllable than entering from the wall. Okay. The other thing too is throttle control. If you guys notice, I'm not 100% through the S's. I don't. There's a lot of places that I don't need to be 100%. You're still gonna get time, but you're eliminating that wheel spin. Okay. You're saving those rear tires. It's all about traction. This corner here, again, prototype GT3, you can take wide open. In this, I can't. As soon as I get to that dark patch, hard on the brakes, because if I drive it any deeper than that, I'm off into the grass. And once you get in the grass in this thing, the next stop is the tire barrier. At this rumble strip here, it's about the 200 marker, hard on the brakes. Again, you could drive it a lot deeper in the other cars, but this is a next-gen car. It handles like a boat. Obviously, NASCAR 1 and 2 is pretty self-explanatory. Uh, Again, setting up for the bus stop, I feel like I'm getting just past the 3, but mentally I'm trying to brake at the 3. If you find that you're braking too soon, don't be afraid to give it a little bit at a time, okay? That's where practice really pays off and comes in. Okay, this was a really smooth bus stop. If there's a lap that you guys want to watch on repeat, whether it's in-car or the exterior, lap 2 was a really smooth and solid lap. Um, Lap 3, I was trying to push it a little harder, obviously, and got a little squirrely, but real quick. This corner here, again, this is new. When we were doing the ARCA car, like the ARCA car was here, I think just before the new year, and when I was running laps with Zach Novak, I was entering way up against the wall here where it's Daytona, and I found out through him that it was way easier to enter this low, and when I did that in the next gen car, huge help. Okay, the braking points are obviously different, but as soon as I get somewhere flush with Daytona, I'm on the brakes. I'm on the brakes. We're on the bottom of the banking. And if you run your own practice laps, I dare you to try to enter way up here, and you're going to see how squirrely and uncontrollable the rear end starts to get. You start doing a lot of dancing. It's very unstable. Okay, when you enter down here, the car is much more under control. You might feel like you're under driving, and if you are, feel free to get it a little deeper, maybe to the D or somewhere around the 7 marker. Okay, but it's a lot more stable and controllable down here. And again, it's all about limiting your own time loss or your own mistakes. Okay, like to me, that feels incredibly smooth down here. Second gear corner, you can do first. Second just gives you about the same drive off and saves your rear tires. Alright guys, that'll just about cover it for this video. Like I said, lap 2, much more smoother and consistent. For me, I think that was definitely my best lap, and I know the time shows. You could really see the difference, especially going into the chicane on the back straightaway. I definitely drove it a little deeper, trying to find some time, and I did the old panic downshift into second, trying to get it woed down to make sure I make the corner, and you saw what happened, right? And that's the example that I'm talking about when you try to overdrive on a road course, the things that can happen. Luckily, I was able to keep it under control and save it, but a lot of times once it starts wheel hopping in the back and it starts dancing, it becomes very hard to control. Okay, this is a tough road course all in its own. It's even harder with this next gen car because this next gen car is just a beast to handle on these road courses. It can make for a lot of fun or it can make for a lot of frustration. Hopefully, you guys find a way to have fun with it. Okay. If there's anything that you guys want clarification on, anything you want to discuss, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I check this throughout the week constantly. Um, Another thing too is for anybody who is running the Daytona 24-hour race this coming weekend when this video is released, I hope you guys have a blast. Good luck. I know it's one of my favorite events to do at the beginning of the year with my teammates. Not sure if I'm going to be racing it this year with the NASCAR Media Day that's going on, because it just so happens to be on the weekend. But I always try to tune in and watch. So uh, even if I get bored, I'll be watching a bunch of different splits for a while and just enjoying it as a spectator if I'm not doing it myself. But best of luck to anybody who is doing it. I know it's a lot of fun. Let it be fun. That's what it's meant to be. If you find that this video was helpful in any way, please consider leaving a like. Once again, any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want clarification on, anything you want to discuss, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm always down to engage with you guys. And lastly, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can see these videos every Monday when they're posted on the Maconi YouTube page. Alright guys, best of luck this week, and we'll see you out on the track.